Okay, well, here I am. My chores are done, and it is, well, what time is it? It's 5:36. Boy, I'm done early. I made good time today. My chores are all done, and it isn't even 6 o'clock yet. It is dark out, though. It's totally black dark outside now. Um, yeah. Anyway, it's funny. I saw a I saw a story recently about how a bunch of butter has been recalled. And the reason the butter was recalled is because it doesn't say on the packaging that it's a dairy product. Um, so they're recalling it because they didn't put that on the packaging. Of course, it's pretty much it's expected, or it stands to reason that it would be a dairy product. It's butter after all. Although obviously the way they're manipulating things and everything these days, they may call it butter when it isn't really what we would normally think of as butter too. So that is possible. But apparently there's a bit of hysteria over it. People are all concerned. And they put it in there. Oh, you don't consume it. If you have this butter, don't consume it. Throw it away or take it back to the store. But don't eat this butter because it's not labeled properly. Well, I mean, yeah, where do I even begin? Um, Modern times are interesting, I'll tell you. People get all upset, people get worried, and then we got authorities who hype everything up. Oh, be scared, be scared. Oh, it's scary. This could kill you. In the meantime, they push things on us that kill us every day. We got processed food that's all full of bad stuff that our bodies were never meant to consume. Um, you know, and so, yeah, I don't know, but I'll tell you a story. Back in the old days, when men used to eat a pretty healthy diet, really, and they used to work hard. My great uncle Bill and my great aunt Verna, they had a farm in Jasper, Ontario. This was back in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Bill had taken his back pay that he was owed after World War II because he served in World War II, and I may have availed himself of one of those veterans programs as well, because there were programs after the war to help veterans if they wanted to go into business or to buy a farm or to go to trade school or whatever. And I don't know if he availed himself of any of that or not, but he did end up with a farm in Jasper, a little farmhouse there in the farm, and it was, I suppose, kind of an idyllic setting in a way, especially back in those times. Anyway, my Aunt Verna, she told me one time the routine in the morning. They get up early in the morning. Bill would go straight out to the barn to milk the cows. Cows had to be milked. While he was milking the cows, Verna would be making the breakfast. Now this is pretty good. Just listen to this. When Bill came in from milking the cows, he'd sit down at the table, he'd have his breakfast. Breakfast consisted of fried potatoes, about a dozen eggs, several pork chops, applesauce, coffee or tea, juice, and pie. He'd eat about half a pie after he ate all that. Now, if you ever saw a photograph of my great uncle Bill, or if you had ever known him, in my case, I knew him. He passed away when I was 10 in 1978. But I did know him, and I remember him well, and I have pictures of him. Still have pictures of Great Uncle Bill and Great Aunt Verna. These were not big people. Bill was not like a 350-pound or 400-pound behemoth or anything. He was just a very slightly built man. I'm sure he was strong as an ox. He had to be to do the work he did. But Bill certainly wasn't some sort of a walking land yacht or anything like that. He wasn't like a obese or even really big. He wasn't even like, you wouldn't even look at him and say the man's built like a refrigerator or anything like that, like you might about some people, about some guys. He was just kind of a slightly built, smaller stature man who worked really hard. I mean, they did hard physical labor in those days. And he never got fat because he wore all that off. He'd eat that big breakfast and he'd do enough work that by lunchtime he had worn all that off. He'd used up all those calories. And he was ready for lunch, and then he'd be good till supper. But they ate. I mean, he ate big meals. He ate more in a sitting than most of us would eat in a day. But he also worked really hard. He was very active. See, now we have a lot of unhealthy people because we have a primarily sedentary population. We have a lot of people who don't do any work, and those who do work oftentimes are in sedentary jobs. They're sitting behind a desk, tapping buttons on a keyboard or whatever. They're they're not moving their body. They're just there all day long. They get up to go to the bathroom or to go over to the photocopier or the fax machine or whatever, or to go have their lunch or something. But otherwise, they spend most of their day sitting at a desk. And then our food isn't healthy. We got the authorities now trying to convince us that the diet my great uncle ate was unhealthy. But there could be nothing further from the truth. He was eating farm fresh eggs. He was eating pork chops, applesauce, pie. I mean, he was eating healthy. He really was. And he was eating what was necessary for him to eat so he could do the kind of work he was doing. Because a busy body needs fuel, and it needs good fuel. And so, yeah, I mean, like I say, you can say what you like, but they did something right back then. And we can laugh at people from the past. We can say they were backward. Oh, they were stupid. They were backward. They were this, they were that. But the fact is, they were doing it right in many ways. And we could probably take a few pages from their book. I'm not saying everything they did was right. There was a lot of awful stuff happened in the old days, the 1940s and 50s and 60s and 70s. They were pretty rough times in a lot of ways. And I know I lived through some of it, and they were rough times in a lot of ways. But that doesn't negate the fact those people survived those times and even flourished in them. How did they do that? They did it because they did some things right. That's how they did it. And, this modern atmosphere of being afraid of everything and sitting and waiting for the government to tell us what to be afraid of and getting all hysterical over things that don't matter and so on like that. And then eating stuff that we really shouldn't eat. I mean, we eat a lot of stuff that isn't good for us. I do it too, because it's easy. And that's the other thing. The system has made it very easy to eat in an unhealthy way. It's not easy to eat clean. It takes commitment, But it's very easy to go out and to buy some crap and eat that. And then if you look at it, if you look at the ingredients in some of this stuff and you find out what it actually is, it turns out to be rat poison, or it turns out to be, some sort of an industrial cleaning agent, or it turns out to be, floor stripper or paint thinner or something. Like you find out this or antifreeze or whatever, and this is stuff they use, to keep the engine block of a truck from cracking in the cold weather. Like, and it's in our potato chips, or it's in our ice cream, or it's in our that boil in a bag meal did you buy, or whatever, where you just cut the end of the thing off there and put it in the boiling water, and it makes a nice delicious meal. You find out, oh, that's got paint thinner in it or something, or at least a chemical that's used as paint thinner. Anyway, yet we're not told to be afraid of that. Well, it's weird. I got like the Cro-Magnon brow thing going on here, the ridge, Quite a thing, Yeah. Yeah. I should maybe move out of the camper and into a cave. Anyway, bottom line is, I've noticed this anyway in modern society, that we have governments that really try to push the fear, And the thing is, in a couple of years, people won't remember what the stupid reason for that recall in the butter was. But what they will remember is that the butter was recalled. You see. Now they're trying to get us away from meat and dairy products. The powers that be are. They want us to eat lab-grown meat. They want us to stay away from anything that's natural. If it grew up and was raised in a field eating grass, walking around on its hooves and dumping a load of shit every so often out its ass end, that's no good. We don't want that. Better to take these cells and put them in a petri dish and then let them multiply, and we'll grow a steak out of these cells. Yeah, because that's healthy. Anyway, bottom line is, that's what they want us to think anyway, that's what we should be doing. That's it. I just wanted to share that anyway. I was thinking about my Aunt Verna and my Uncle Bill a little while ago, and I saw this thing about the recall on the butter, and I saw how some people were really freaked out about it, really afraid. Oh no, we better be careful. We don't want to eat butter that's not labeled right. They forgot to put some words on the label there. We don't want that. Anyway, yeah, I'm tired. Anyway, that's the thing. What'll happen is, in a couple of years, they'll be telling us butter's no good for us. And they're already telling us that. A lot of, the meat and dairy are no good for us. But they'll tell us that, and then people will remember that there was a big recall, but they won't remember why. And then they'll be like, oh, I think there was something wrong with the butter. Wasn't it tainted or something? Didn't some people die from eating that? That's what'll happen. And then they'll quit eating butter because the government said, well, you remember what happened a couple years ago? And they really won't remember. But they'll still have that fear in them that's being generated now. And the government can use that then later on as a manipulation thing. Anyway, yeah, they plant a lot of seeds. And when you plant fear seeds, you get fear. Or at least you're supposed to. I mean, if you're growing a garden and you want onions, you don't plant carrots. Or beets or whatever, you plant onions. Same sort of thing. Anyway, that's it for now. If you want fear, you plant fear. Plant those seeds of fear today, and you can profit off it tomorrow. Yeah, today's seeds that you plant will grow up into a nice lot of fear, and then you can convince the people that they need you to keep them safe, and to tell them what to do so they don't get themselves killed in this dangerous and hostile world. A dangerous and hostile world in large part because we've made it that way. And what we'll tell them, they just need to obey us and they'll be safe. And they'll be so relieved and so grateful that they'll just do anything they need to do in order to keep us happy and to keep us out there protecting them, whoever us happens to be. You know, whatever agency of government us happens to represent. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you later.